Good evening, Gooners. Welcome to In the North Bank, the big Sunday show, and well, another end of a season. So close now, and I've had a murder of a weekend. I think that game topped it off. I think a stag do and a 40th birthday yesterday. Um, yeah. Oh, we've got a lot to talk about, Richard.
Very lots.
So yeah, look, we missed out last week, but yeah, it's not really improved or changed, has it? From with
No.
regards to the last game at the Emirates. Um, so yeah, join us after this intro. Well, Richard, God, when was we live last? It
Uh,
seemed like an absolute age ago.
wasn't it?
Yeah, um, I just couldn't get a break, couldn't get a break from anything, and it was just one of those kind of things where every time we're trying to think to go live, it just things come against whether or not it was internet, whether or not it was work, all over the shop. So yeah, Sunday evening, and yeah, the big Sunday show. A disappointing game yesterday evening. At the City Ground, and it had a weird feeling to it, didn't it? Really, in the end of the day, you looked at it certainly as a game. Certainly before the game, anyway. I can't. I've resigned to the fact that we weren't obviously going to get anywhere. There was no kind of convincing me that there's any possibility of getting past City or getting around City or even points.
If it had been a different team other than Chelsea, then you would have thought, yeah, there may be a chance. But Chelsea have been poor all season, so
Yeah, and if this wasn't the game really that you could suddenly think, well, City could potentially drop points. I'm still looking at those two games that they've got away from home left and thinking they potentially could have been. But look,
yeah,
City obviously finishing it off today, didn't they? And look,
yeah,
you have to take your hats off to them. Whatever comes out of this afterwards with regards to potential charges, obviously it's too late anyway whatsoever. But you have to say fair play to them and congratulations.
yeah. I
Great
mean,
job.
you have to question the timing behind these charges. To me, it stinks of we're trying to protect our own backs. We don't want the government to interfere, and so we're going to govern ourselves now before somebody else does.
Yeah, and I look at this as and we. I was talking. About being in Yorkshire. I've got a Nottingham Forest fan, and I've also got City people, and they kind of they talk. But um, I just looked at I just look at these. Oh, sorry, and I also a Brentford fan as well. Up north, there was a Brentford fan, and obviously it's this thing with Ivan Tony. Just obviously going off a tangent. I'm just suddenly thinking if there was a title race still going on, and everyone was heavily involved, and it was obviously potentially going down to that last game of the season. Would they have pulled that announcement out to kind of ban him for the last two games of the season, knowing that that offers a big advantage to the other teams? I don't know. I'm questioning whether or not suddenly they just pulled it out of the hat now as opposed to just doing it at the end of the season because I don't know. It just seems a bit weird.
Yeah, the timing is a bit weird.
Yeah,
It's a hefty old ban, and it does mean he won't get a move this season
yeah.
because no club's going to pay any money for us and be without a striker for that length of time.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're going to try and do it so he can't move anyway. So it's going to be global, isn't it? So yeah,
Yeah,
he's yeah, and I've heard lots of people say about still trying to get him, and I'm just suddenly thinking everyone's pulling their hair out about who Arsenal are going to sign over the summer and everything like that. Even like last season, and they're like kind of like just just about certain players. But then people are talking about getting him in for January. And it's like I'm going to spend money like for someone who's going to come in on January and have not played for 8 months or
there 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 are other players out there that you could look at. Young lad Ferguson at Brighton scored again today. What was that? 7, 8 goals. He's
yeah,
only 18. He's come in, looked really good.
yeah. It's look there are loads.
Yeah. Watkins.
Yeah, it's who they identify and who what we're going to have available. I know this this
I mean, but
pre-season is going to be mental.
yeah,
I think.
but is a forward necessarily a striker necessarily a priority position? You need cover for really for Saka's position.
Yeah, we'll go into that, Richard, a little bit later. We'll have a little kind of go down. Obviously, we haven't spoke about the games. Obviously,
Brighton.
we look at that Brighton game first of all, just briefly going into it because I don't want to go. We all know kind of what happened. It was kind of it was another strange game. And I know Arsenal weren't at their best, and I know being in the stadium, the stadium seemed fairly rocking, but not its usual bubbly self or bubbling self. And we tried to raise the
And probably that sort of anticlimactic feel to it.
exactly, yeah, yeah. And you looked at it and you come into it, and yeah, we had a couple of the chances early on, didn't we? In the half, and
Yeah.
that to then go to got the goal down. It made it just a bit awkward. Certainly in that second half when you're suddenly thinking it had we have obviously taken a chance in the first half, um, but
And I think
Brighton,
the nature of the goals we can, at least two of the goals we conceded, the fact that it rebounded off a Brighton player, Ramsdale then didn't know where to come or go, and then when he did, he got chipped, and then you've got the one where he parried it in for the third, he parried it into Brighton player's path, which he hasn't done all season. So, an individual errors in that game that we haven't seen too much of.
yeah, it was an interesting one. And I look at there were a lot of performances which I thought were a little bit shaky. You saw Ben White, who's been very comfortable. I would say there's only been maybe a couple of games that he's really kind of been, I wouldn't say found out, but again, you see certain kind of things within his game that he isn't or isn't natural. And I know he's obviously a centre back, but then can play in that left back. Sorry, for left back, right back role. Sorry, and yeah, just pace wise and everything like that. I just think it was it just got found out, didn't he? And
Yeah,
Mitoma.
I mean, you got. I, I've been impressed with Mitoma all season
Mm.
from Brighton, and there's not many defenders that have kept him quiet.
You know what? When I watched him play against us, he had and there was one where he stood up, White outside the box and just literally just
Yeah,
turned him inside out. And his movement and the way of like maneuvering the ball when the ball's stopped still and then he just moves him back out. It reminded me of Robert Perez, something similar to like that now. So
yeah, all the good players have got it. You look at Perez, you look at Ronaldo, you look at all those wingers that can just hold the ball up and then just go again and, and beat a defender because they've stopped them and then gone again.
Yeah, and look, he done it time and time again. And look, had even Trossard come and scored that shot where they hit the bar in the first half, we'd we'd probably be talking about a slightly different game because yeah, obviously getting that goal, nothing just seemed to fall for us. Nothing seemed to really kind of go our way.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't think the performance was very good in the first half, and
no,
but it was just waiting for something to spark. Is what I felt. I thought it might not be going well at the moment, but there is a very good chance that in the second half we might kick in.
yeah, well, that's exactly what I thought, and we're all kind of saying we obviously got to step up because we knew how well Brighton were playing as a team. They're no mugs. Obviously, they had 60% possession at the Emirates, and you're suddenly thinking, well, look, how can we
Yeah,
do like, to Man City with regards to possession, but then have another team do that to us at our own place? And you're suddenly thinking, yeah, they just seemed a little bit off their normal levels. I would say, and whether or not that's to do with a little bit of confidence, having the guts kind of kicked out of you a little bit, and look, that's where you suddenly find out a lot about your group again, don't you? And you're suddenly thinking,
yeah,
well, when it doesn't go right, we've been obviously pretty decent. Certainly when we've had disappointments this season, haven't we?
yeah,
Been going on those runs, six game winning runs and whatever like that after losses, and it's only these last six games or so we've had that real sticky point, which again, look, it is disappointing, and it was just the manner of those goals, and they were a bit lucky. Like the first goal was just like a head out by Tierney, and then a cross that was kind of hitting to the ground, wasn't it? And then it
yeah.
was just like, yeah, just
And that again, I think, I mean, was something I put down, especially in that game, was Tierney didn't particularly have a very good game, and but what also made that even worse was the lack of control we had in midfield. Uh, whereas with a Zinchenko in there, you 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 you've got more control. You lose that defensive stability, but you gain more control. So, and that highlighted it. And it was a shame for Tierney because I thought in
yeah,
the Newcastle game he'd had a thought about a 35 minute game where he looked like he was really good and at it. So I wasn't that concerned going into it. And I think
yeah,
it was very telling when you saw the lineup for the Nottingham Forest game.
yeah. Look, when you talk about someone that's on probably the cusp of kind of coming into the team and wanting to prove himself, then you've got to take those moments, haven't you? You've got to really
Yeah,
take like those chances. And if you're coming in and you're giving 5 out of 10 performances, then you're going to get overlooked, aren't you? There's nothing that I've suddenly looked at him and I've said he's done absolutely amazing. How can you not play him? And I love Tierney as much as any player, and
yeah,
obviously when he joined, I'd love to have him playing and being a part of the team. But I look at it and I suddenly say, yeah, it isn't easy not playing because you've got to suddenly step it up and you've got to suddenly come in and you've got to show that performance.
yeah.
But
I mean, look at Saka. Uh, you can put him at left back. You can put him left side. You can put him at right back. You, and he will give you a performance there.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so so you when you that's that's what any player's got to do. Okay, it
well,
might
look,
not be outstanding, but all you're looking for is a solid 6 or 7 out of 10 performance every game.
yeah, you've got to show for it and actually go and do it. And look, and this is where we've got to aim to get ourselves now.
Yeah, we got to be ruthless.
Look, we know where we are now, and where we finished, and how we finished. We know it will always be the comparison to last year with this year. Um, oh, we've dropped off. We've bottled it. We've not got the same thing. Oh, Arteta out. So it's they are different, and
Yeah,
it's
but
one of these.
again, they're different in the terms of, again, you lost Tommy Asu, two defenders in, uh, uh, and it's in the, and you thought we were pretty. If you'd looked at it most of the season, that was an area we were quite strong in. But look at City, got rid of Cancelo, but and they've sometimes had a kid in there, and they've got that depth in those positions. I mean, it happened to Liverpool a couple of seasons ago. Van Dijk was out, Matip, and they struggled at the start of the season, and when they got all went back, they picked up.
Yeah,
So it is hard for many teams. Maybe City is the only team that can take a couple of injuries in one area and still have the depth of squad to go on. And
yeah,
but that's where we need to achieve to, isn't it?
exactly. And when we talk about the squad depth that we've got, yeah, it isn't. It's nowhere near what what we obviously can see at Man City.
Yeah,
You can look through, and we'll go through. We'll have another show all on just kind of next season. We'll do our best to get through, and go past the Wolves game at the end of the season.
yeah,
I'll be there, so there won't. I don't think. Well, I don't think there'll be a Sunday show on that after that game, um, because I think we'll be having a few shandies just to celebrate the season
yeah.
with some good friends and people at the ground. So yeah, we'll probably do that midweek. So yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be a final game or final show where we kind of go through the season and yeah, have a little breakdown and we get things going. But yeah, just finishing up on that Brighton game. As I say, there were some good moments. Obviously, McAllister looked really good. Um, and
You look at the players there: Casino, McAllister, Matoma,
mm,
and and they were probably the standout players. And then you had Duncan. Uh,
I've said this about Dunk. When we question him, who did he play for beforehand? Did he? Was it? I'm trying to think who he played for first of all. Um, I'm having a look. I'm having a look because even before, unless he did,
I'm not sure.
I think it was. I think it was just when they got promoted. I think he has been playing for Brighton since. Yeah, Wimbledon. He's been at Brighton since 2010, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah. Bristol
Well,
City loan. Yeah,
yeah. So, but no, I looked at him and I just suddenly thought, certainly when they were playing, it wasn't. It's not a knee jerk on say like this year. But I'm suddenly we were talking about when we were kind of needing say backup and players coming in for defence, and I'm suddenly thinking every time we play against that kind of guy or
yeah.
Lewis Dunk, he seems to have a real decent game with us. And um, could he do a job? You look at it like that, and you suddenly think,
Well, is he an upgrade on Rob Holding? Definitely.
well, look, it's.
That's the thing is, if you who would you prefer behind Saliba, Rob Holding or Lewis Dunk? I think that question is pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Nothing wrong with not slating Rob Holding, but
Yeah,
he is
my
at a he is at a certain level, and
yeah my concern, the only thing I'd concern about him now is, and it's obviously I was looking at this probably about 2 years ago, and I'm talking about when we were kind of really kind of looking for a player. Obviously, we had Saliba out on loan, and yeah, trouble is he's around 30, 31 now, Dunk. So probably don't think he's had too many injury worries. So he doesn't seem to always be a player that will just kind of not play games. But could he certainly do a job? I probably would. I'd probably say he could certainly do a couple of years. So I
three,
don't know. It'd
four
be an
years.
interesting one, wouldn't it? It'd be an
Yeah,
interesting one. But
three,
knowing,
4 years, you can bring Waters or somebody through if they're good enough.
yeah, yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of things to be to looked at over this summer. You know, it's giving me headaches just thinking about it, and you're looking about like even just like the outgoings, and you're suddenly thinking this thing about Xhaka has come out as well about him leaving as well, and that was kind of a bit out of the blue. I thought that
Well,
maybe he'd have another season, and then that would be potentially the one where he'd kind of either drift into being, say, a squad player, um, and then we'd obviously have a new player that comes in and then brings it forward, and it'd be a natural progression. But to then see potentially that it is on the cards that he's going to go, um, it made it a bit more knee jerk, and you're suddenly thinking, oh, if he does go, that then kind of makes that midfield kind of issue a whole lot more important, because
yeah,
we've seen when he's not playing that we tend to struggle on that left hand channel. Certainly when Zinchenko plays and tucks inside, and the physicality side of things, we've seen Vieira come in and not be able to hold it. Yeah, obviously need to find someone. What
well,
did you think with that?
well, there'd been rumblings, and he had wanted to go overseas, and he'd been talked into it. So it was probably just a stay a season, extra season, do us a job, and then you can go. And 15 million for a player on his last year isn't a bad uh, bit of thing. And he goes on a high. He's a he's had his best season for us in terms of goals and bits. He's not been sent off, and he's been Mr. Reliable. So leave on the high. You've repaired your reputation and somewhat, and good luck to you. And that extra 15 million in the kitty goes will help.
Yeah, it'll be a
And
real.
I think Royce will be that if we get him. Royce is that player that will be filling that role.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I don't want to go straight into this like well this early, but um, we got to be very careful. Again, we don't fall in this kind of we're just going to get outpriced again. And it's about time we take the reins and we take the first step, and we suddenly say, yeah, this is our player. We want him, and we actually go and lead the race, and
Yeah.
we go and
Well,
do it. We say, yeah, whatever you want, bang, get it done.
we've done the groundwork. What we're waiting on is West Ham to finish their Conference League.
Oh yeah, that's it. And yeah,
And
nothing else will happen. But
once that's done, we're giving them the respect. So
we always seem to do the groundwork though. But then it's when it tries to get over the line,
yeah,
we end up falling flat on our backsides. But
I think it's more we don't want to do something that pushes. pushes them away from a negotiating table. We rather get them at the negotiating table, and then when they're ready.
Well, look again. This is where we talk about finances and the business, and you're suddenly saying, well, okay, yeah, all right. They want X amount. They want 120 million, and yeah, we probably don't want to be paying 120 million. So
No.
we've got a valuation, and then it's that kind of balancing up where we've got to do it. And this
Well,
is where
they've also said they'll take 90 odd million plus a player. So that's where I think that's where we'll be looking at, and I think that's where we'll be playing ball at. We'll right. We're willing to go sort of around the 90 million mark with add-ons, and well, here's a list of players we're willing to look at chucking in that deal. Maybe a Balogun or or a Lokonga or an Nketiah. Which one of those three would you like?
yeah. Well, look, we're gonna go into that
Yeah,
like a little later on. Uh, so I'm finished with Brighton. Um,
yeah.
Look,
The,
they turned up for their next game and they rested another 3, 4 players, and then got turned over by Newcastle. And you're just suddenly thinking, well,
but
look,
Newcastle are a decent team anyway. I
well they
don't.
are. But again, you look at it and you just look. We beat Newcastle. They beat
Yeah,
they beat Brighton, who beat us, and you're suddenly thinking, this is why this Premier League is so good, because look, anyone can beat anyone. Look, Tottenham could beat Man City. And that's what I'm saying. Anyone could beat anyone, you know. And it's just, yeah,
and
unfortunately,
and Brighton are in a in the fight for a Europa League spot.
yeah,
So
they've only missed, well, they've missed out on a couple of games where potentially they could have been challenging for third or fourth, haven't they?
Champions League, yeah.
So yeah, they've had a really good season. So yeah, hats off to them. They've lost their manager as well, and look, they haven't stepped backwards. So fair play to them, and they play some really good football. Um, so yeah, so going back to last night. Um, yeah, I confess I didn't have a huge amount of, I wouldn't say interest. I've always got interest, but I was trying to get my glad rags on for travelling out to a party, and it just had a just a feel of nothingness, and it was like almost like yeah. And we were talking about teams that have got nothing to play for, and you're just only thinking we're just like a dead rubber game where we just turn up and we just kind of yeah, you want to get your holidays, you want to get the kind of season over and done. And you're probably right. But probably the Arsenal players are probably watching it now, seeing City win it, and they're just like sick in their stomachs as well, just seeing it happen, being so close. And look, it wasn't the easiest place to go to, especially knowing that obviously Forest have obviously got that kind of thing that they need to win to stay up as well, which made it
They needed points.
yeah.
One or 3 points is what they needed to keep their dream alive. And for
But
me, for me, the two I wanted to see stay up were Forest and Leeds, because I've got mates who are Leeds fans, and to be honest, who wouldn't want to see Everton go down?
well, look, yeah, I could take Everton
It
and
ain't going
Leeds.
to be Liverpool, so it might as well be the other
I
scouts.
could take Everton and Leeds go down. Yeah, I thought and Leicester stay up. That'd be quite funny. Um, but yeah, it was strange. And yeah, Martinelli being out for the season now with obviously that ankle, which was quite bad.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, the shape was interesting, wasn't it? Talk over the shape that we set up in.
yeah. Well, when you saw the team sheet, your initial thinking was you've gone. He's going to 3-4-3, but
Oh,
yeah,
I saw other things. I saw other things, Richard.
but
There were
he
there were
actually
people.
set up as 4-3-3 and Party played the Sinchenko role.
I saw people putting saying, "Oh, I can't believe Xhaka's at left back," and you're suddenly thinking,
Yeah, you
"Oh,
see, I never saw. I did. I saw Xhaka in there, and I thought, well, no, he's never going to play Xhaka at left back. I said he's either going to play the back three, or he's moved Kivior to the left back, and he's moving Partey into the right
yeah,
back position. But I still didn't believe he'd actually do do that. But they were my initial two thoughts,
yeah,
and I think our biggest problem was up front. I think he should have put put Trossard as the number 9 and moved Jesus out to the left because Jesus has a pace and trickery, and it was quite obvious within the first 15, 20 minutes that we had a problem on our left hand side, and everything, all our attacks were just down that right hand side. We rarely had anything on on our left on our left.
yeah." It was like it almost felt like they were trying to mirror how our normal setup was, with Party almost coming in and trying to tuck inside, weren't it? But then he was told to kind of get forward a bit more by Jorginho, who's trying to urge him to go forward, and the whole balance I think just seemed a little bit strange from the bits I kind of really saw. There was lots of neat passing, but Forest closed us down well. They defended really well. Um, but we just seemed really toothless, didn't we? Just in
Yeah,
general, just kind of getting up the pitch
it's,
and supporting.
it's because they were comfortable. They
Yeah,
only had to worry about. They knew where the attacks were coming after once they figured it out, they got their shape and they were able to deal with it. And we didn't have any other ideas or alternatives to it. And
yeah,
then we got suckered. Pull pass by Udegaard, and
yeah,
then a piece of poor luck, and it is just poor luck. Gabriel clears the ball,
yes,
hits Ariani's shin and loops up over Ramsdale into the net. Yeah, but it's not one of those things you can deal with, and then you're going to struggle even more once they've got something to hold on to.
yeah. No, definitely. I'd say I think it just summed up the kind of Lady Luck probably escaping us over the last few weeks, and it really, at the end of the day, I think there was some things where it just hasn't seemed to really fall, whether or not it's a kind of an injury or it's an error, mistake, or whatever. But look, yeah, recovered well, and yeah, makes the tackle. And you think you've done it, you think you've done your job, and it bounces off and over the goalkeeper. So yeah, it was.
They just dribble wide, don't they? But not this time.
Yeah, it was just not. I mean, I saw some good stuff, and there was some unlucky, some nice little link up play with Saka and Jesus,
Yeah,
and we got into the box, but again, it was just like there weren't really the
final
real quality, was
final
there?
pass, final decision making again.
Yeah, yeah, and to finish, what was I looked at? I thought it was like mental the stats wise. It's like 82% possession. Arsenal had.
And I think the telling stat was uh, in the first half it was we had 6 shots and 2 on target. And if you're going to win a game at a place like Forest, a team, and credit to Cooper because he's come up from the championship playing attacking football. He and then he's quickly he's tried to play that way. He's realised he can't, and him and his staff sat there, decided that it's better to be defensively solid and try and hit on the counter break. And they've got at the right time of the season, they've got themselves a bit of form.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, at the start of the season, I think Forest had signed about 332 players, didn't they, to kind of
It was
get them through this
22
season.
players, yeah, but they
Yeah.
got rid of a lot of
So,
players because they were only loan players.
this is my little banter we have with the Forest fan up in Yorkshire where I'm working, and like yeah, we're just saying yeah, the shirt numbers are on like triple figures. The squad numbers, and it's just like yeah, it's crazy. But look, you go
It's
back,
what they have to
you
do.
go all the way from the first game at the Emirates, and that was an absolute mauling. And look, they have come a long way, and yeah, it's been a struggle. But look, it's that home form that does make it at the end of the day, and yeah, the crowd, everything gets them through. They're not expected to win the away games, but the only chance they have is to try and win as many of those home games as possible. So
And
yeah,
that one at Southampton last week was a big one for them.
oh massive, yeah, massive. But yeah, you do question it, and you look at it, 161 passes to 724,
Yeah.
and
But this is where Arteta and his team have to sit down and say, where do we go from here? How do we improve?
yeah, look, they've got to analyse it. They'll have to pick off bit by bit and suddenly say, well, what went well, what didn't go well, and yeah, what stage of the game, what areas, yeah, you know what I mean. Where did we not look very very good, and you got to assess it, and you got to understand what you're missing, and when players are missing as well, who then come into the team and didn't really change it or affect anything there. So there's big kind of they're all going to be really kind of like going into it, and we've obviously seen all or nothing, and you know what depth they do go into kind of going over stuff, and yeah, what went well, what didn't. It's a natural process. I'm sure Arteta's going to be kind of going over it. I think that's just part of him, isn't it? I think that's his
Yeah,
nature. He's he's so desperate to win that he wants to get like yeah find the answers, and like I say we've come up short, but look, this is where I take the issue of Arsenal bottling it to we've lost to a better team,
yeah. I mean,
because you look at the juggernaut that City is, yeah.
we had to make up 24 points on City this season and hope they didn't improve.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I look at this bottling whole thing. It's almost like we are the same level as City. Bearing in mind, you hear all the commentators when they're in the Champions League. Oh, this City side are unbelievable. The best in the land. And you're suddenly saying about Arsenal, and then suddenly bottling, and we're suddenly saying if we're bottling, that means you're talking about us being
Yeah, I
that
don't like
level.
the word bottling because you're the literal definition is you're not brave enough, and this team hasn't not been brave enough. You don't play the way you did it for the first 20 minutes at 20, 30 minutes at Anfield if you aren't brave enough. Yeah. And sometimes pressure gets to you. Sometimes another team is just better than you, and in moments in and we'll some will say the Liverpool game, but I pick out the Southampton game. But to be honest, both Southampton games, the West Ham game
Mm.
away and the Everton game away, where we and the Brentford at home, games where we've got points where we shouldn't be dropping points. Uh, and when you go 2-0 up at West Ham, and then you try and do what Man City do, yet you haven't got the quality to do that just yet. Then that's on the players.
Well, it is, yeah, but it shows that where we have got the issues, haven't we, with
Yeah,
regards to the squad. But it goes to also show, I think people have riled up that Arsenal have got back up there, and they've
yeah.
they've shown what they could do. And you're
And,
suddenly
and for the Arsenal fans, it's a disappointment of coming so close yet failing to see it through, which is fair fair enough. But you've also got to look and say, well, actually, there's been an improvement this season.
There is a massive improvement, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not upset. I'm not disappointed because, like everyone, we're all disappointed
Yeah,
on that side. Um, to be where we have been for so long, yeah, but we know, and this is why. So I went back even from February, and I was saying, "Oh, it's in our hands." I said, "It's never been in our hands." I don't see us favourites just because we're 8 points or 5 points with them with a game in hand. I I never felt we are expected. I mean, it's part
well, I
of
think,
that.
yeah, and I think if you look at it, the second 19 games, well, it's 17 games, and you've got 31 points
Mm.
from a possible 51. Uh, so you're going to end up with 34 points from a possible 19. From a possible 57 in 19 games. We had 50 points the first half. It's quite clear to see where the improvement is needed to be got in this next season. And you also got to keep that level in the first half of the season. Keep the same level in the first half. Improve that second half. Can they do it? Can they get the players in to do it? That's what we have to see. Could criticise Arteta for some choices, but again, uh, most of the time the choices haven't been bad, and the choices have affected games. But sometimes you've got to look at the players, and in certain games this season, players have let themselves down.
Yeah, look, I think that comes down to also the experience side of things as well, don't they? With the younger
Yeah,
players, and yeah, look, we wanted, and this is another thing where I look at it and suddenly say, well, you're suddenly saying Arteta should have used his squad more, blah blah blah. We should have used more. We should have given players more game time and rotated around. But honestly think he has done what he's done because that was the best chance he could have potentially got where he was now to where we're seeing it now. Had he been rotating around the squad, I don't think we'd have been anywhere near second place. I think we would be probably fifth, fourth. I think that's just a natural kind of. I feel that yeah. Look, we're only 12 points ahead of Man United or whatever like that. Or I think we're near enough.
yes, 12 points ahead of
Yeah. So you look at it like
United
that.
and
It only
Newcastle.
takes another two defeats or a couple of draws, and then you're all back in there, and you're suddenly thinking the the squad has picked itself, but again, you don't use those players, that means then potentially those performances won't be as good as what they have been. So,
Yeah, and I know people say, "Oh, you haven't used Tierney enough, or you haven't used," but and again with Reece Nelson, when you've had your chances, have you performed at a consistently high level in in the previous games? Uh, and I can pick out a few games. Forest, uh, was it Sporting away, and Bournemouth. Other than that, I don't remember him having standout games. And normally, his most impressive games have been when he's been on that left hand side of a pitch, not on the right side where he is a right winger. But
mm,
and it's the same. We could go back to Joe Willock, his time here. Did he perform well enough to be kept? Uh, and you can't be sentimental if you want to be Premier League champions and you want to win the best titles. You've got to be ruthless and say just not. good enough for this team or for this squad to get us to where we want to be. Sometimes,
Yeah. No. It's look. You look at it like that, and you look at um, just the drop offs, and that's what we say. It's one of those, isn't it? It's just
yeah,
if you're not performing, you're not performing. It's you don't get in. So it's one of those, and yeah, Arteta's obviously got a big job on his hands to suddenly work out what's next season to go on. Right, let's go into live chat. Sorry, there's a
yeah,
little one's
yeah, no,
going mental. If you can hear, can you hear it in the background?
yeah. No, that's usual.
Um, yeah, few people on Facebook. Mohammed, good thumbs up.
Nice to see you. Thank you for talking.
Emerson, Evelyn, Paul, and Richard.
Evening, Emerson.
Yeah, Arsenal love.
Yeah,
Mohammed, yeah. John the Gooner is in. Evening Gooners. And
evening,
I'm gutted as I know you lot are seriously thought we'd win. Yeah,
yeah. We had the chance. We just weren't quite there yet, and now we have to see if we can get there.
yeah. We've got to step up now, and that's it. We've got to raise it
Yeah,
up, and yeah, try and go
I,
that next
I mean,
stage.
let's be honest and frank. You've got to, we've got to go and beat next season probably the best manager that's of a modern era, if not all time, in Pep Guardiola, and you're going to have to beat and compete with a City team that will just strengthen again.
Yeah. Well, look,
They
we have to go
they're
there.
going to strengthen their midfield area, uh, and they'll probably go and get another left back.
Yeah, no, that's it. Well, look, it'll be good. It'll be good to see. It'll be good to see, won't it?
Yeah,
But let's see what who comes in. Um, John the Gooner, hello Mo. Yeah, come on you Gunners. Yeah. Um, question from Emerson. Do you both know that there are two England internationals in mid June? Yeah,
yes, uh,
seen that.
and then the I believe the Europa and the Champions League are around about the 20th and the 27th or something silly at the end of June, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's it's
it's a quick
you're
turnaround.
some certain players uh, having longer rests. And
Yeah.
when does he? Is it all early August? The season starts, isn't
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
it?
Yeah, I know they're going to have to probably try and mix it back up again, aren't they, to
Yeah.
try and make it after from this season because of the World Cup. So yeah, it's going to make it a bit more of a logistical kind of nightmare.
Yeah.
Obviously, players can't really go off, and
Ted says he was working.
yeah, but no, look, it's yeah. There's going to be some quick turnaround, and say as soon as these kind of finals are done and dusted, then yeah, things will be done. But look, there should be no kind of issues with regards to people playing here and there. Yeah, things get done. Things get done over long distances now, and probably most of the stuff like medicals and stuff probably have potentially already
12th
been
of
done anyway.
August. 12th of August as the season starts.
Okay, yeah,
So
no,
you're
that's all
looking
right.
at what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks between the end of June. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah, it'll be a busy one. It'll be a busy one. No shut off. Yeah, Emerson said, yeah, both Trossard and Jesus were interchangeable with each other. Forest bossed the midfield and the fans helped them through and won more points at home than away. Yeah, look,
yeah,
it's key.
It's
It's
just
key
that
to having a good
you
support.
missed Martinelli's hugging that touchline and running at the fullback that side.
Yeah,
Where
it's the same with us at the Emirates, though, isn't it, Richard?
yeah,
Just yeah, the atmosphere being at the Emirates. Usually, it should be an absolute fortress. But yeah, look, it has been. So yeah, it helps massively. Um, welcome, Des. Hi guys, we've
yes,
ended the season with a whimper. Yeah, look, we're kind of we're chugging along, aren't we? Just like
yeah,
just waiting for the final bit. We're running on that last little bit of empty.
yeah. And you again, you look at it. You've lost Sinchenko, you've lost Saliba, you've lost Tommy Asu, three defenders, and then you've lost probably one of your most influential attackers into that. That's that's tough for a lot of teams. Uh, but even it shows where our squad depth is at. I
Yeah,
mean, mate,
definitely. Um, yeah, so Everton, yeah, Champions League's 10th of June. Des said there'll be less games next season. Will there?
we dropping the team out.
Yeah.
uh,
What's
I've
going
not,
on there, Des?
always,
I know there's less games than our season tickets, but that's the only time there's
yeah,
less games.
yeah, and that
Uh,
might be what he means. The following season, the 24 season is going to be interesting with a new format to the Champions League.
yeah, yeah,
That will be interesting because I think that adds a few more games in. Does
yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Emerson again. Arsenal versus Man City Community Shield.
not so fast because United
Yeah, well,
might do them over
yeah,
uh, at Wembley.
6th of
But
August.
if they don't, yes, it will be.
And then yeah, we go stateside in mid-July. So yeah, so that's that's going to be interesting. So
We won't have most of our players back for the mid. We won't have our internationals back for the mid
no,
July.
it'll be the youth players and the
Yeah,
ones that have kind of come back before they get sold. And then that's that. Des has
it's the time to
confirmed.
look at Balogun, isn't it? And
Yeah, Des has confirmed that's what he meant. But
yeah,
what we spoke about, that's all right. Thanks, Des. And
it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it? It's extremely hard to get tickets, and now you're losing games off a season ticket as well.
yeah, yes, I don't know. Tickets. That's going to be part of our on one of our next shows.
Yeah,
I think we'll get this next one. We'll get this next one out of the way, and then we'll do the special show regarding the ticketing. So that'll be quite good. I think that'll be a good discussion. Um, yeah, Des has said, yeah, like we said, we were very predictable.
yeah.
It always went down Saka's side. Yeah, just yeah, we've just got to mix it up a bit
It
more.
was all, but that was also, as I said, it's that the loss of Martinelli meant that was our real attacking threat because Trossard doesn't stay out wide really. He likes to drift inside, and Kivior wasn't getting forward
Yeah,
much. He's but he's a centre back by trade. He can
yeah,
play.
that's it. It's not natural, so
It's not something he's 100% used to. So we were struggling there. So, but it did allow us to have more attacking threat down the right. But again, they did what every team's done this season and kept uh, doubling up on Saka. And there were a
yeah,
few times there were first time ball through to either Jesus or Xhaka or Saka or Trossard, but they made the runs and the ball wasn't given. And these are the areas we've got to improve in as well.
yeah. No, that's it. Definitely, definitely. Um, going to go in the last 5 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Des. what is your player of the season? Mine is Odegaard.
There's plenty, isn't there? I mean,
Yeah,
there's five or six there, but the three that stand out are Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka. Just for the goal contributions and assists, they're they're all very close. So I'd be happy to say Odegaard. I don't think there's not much to choose between any of them.
no, no. When you look at you look at Martinelli, what he's done, but there has been times where he's been a little bit. Well, no, but I suppose every one of them have had the moment where they've kind of had a couple of games where they've been a little bit flat, they've been a little bit out of sorts. Look, Saka's having this kind of moment kind of now, whereas he's been very consistent, and for a youngster, a youngster 21, yeah, he is still a youngster. Um, yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's just
Yeah,
look, they've all had their moments. Odegaard's still had a few games where he's been a little bit ineffective and
and then he's
not
hit a bit of
really
form.
around.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, yeah, proper contributions and proper engine and the whole kind of way he kind of deals with games in his position in the middle. It's yeah, look, he's grown. He's grown from that youngster when he come in on loan to now being captain. So yeah, I think that's three Odegaards. But yeah, I might put a poll on the old community group
Yeah.
on YouTube and see if we actually can get a player of the season. A little poll, so and we'll announce it after the game, after the next show maybe, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I think Odegaard is probably the one. So good one. Des Party did not look right in the position he played yesterday. Yeah, look, I don't think he's a right back.
Yeah, I mean, he did about 15, 20 minutes a few games back, didn't he?
Yeah,
But that it's not a position he's used to playing. It's not, but he did what he had. It's just not one where he's used to having overlap and Saka, is it? It's
yeah.
sort of
No, he's not. He's not going to get forward. That's why I'm saying I think it was probably more to try and squeeze in and try and be that kind of Zinchenko, but it
see
didn't.
if I think if Al Nenny had been fit, Al Nenny would have gone in at gone in at right centre back, and White would have stayed at
Yeah, just
right
don't
back.
know. Yeah, don't know. No idea on that. But look, the players are they're
It's
in that
just that
position, aren't they?
collapse, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just central defensive issue when you've got injuries like that. We've been pretty lucky all season, and then
yeah,
towards the end of the season, we get them.
yeah. No, definitely. Um, last couple. Hold on. I would have bought on Emil Rose Smith yesterday. Is that Des? Was that?
Yeah, I mean,
That's ESR.
you
Come
do.
on, Des. I know you've been
It's
working.
an interesting one. Why did you? And I get that Vieira's been fit most of the season, and it is uh, probably got the seniority on because he's being fitter and more reliable. But if you're looking for a player to unlock a defence and run at a defence, he's more of a and you could have dropped Trossard back into that role and given them Emil Smith Rowe. You know he plays the left wing better than uh, more. It just seemed we clogged up that midfield and the right hand side of it.
Yeah, no, it was just a real strange. game. I think just in
Yeah,
general. Just gonna wrap it up. Just hit the 1 hour mark. So yeah, little one needs us.
yeah. I have been keeping an eye on the score. You'll see me looking at the phone.
Yeah.
Been watching it on the Sky Sport app. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah. No, it's all good. So yeah, last game next week. So good luck to the Arsenal women. But yeah, look, a bad result yesterday. I think for them. But look, with the injuries they've had, I think it's
yeah.
been
Well,
quite.
again, you look at the uh, you look at the injuries, ACLs we've had. You had you had Miedemar and Mead go down in the game against Man United at the Emirates with
Yeah.
ACLs. When you get Leo go down with an ACL,
Yeah.
and then you get Volti go. Was it Volti? Oh, can't go down with an ACL. It's full ACLs in the season. And
Yeah. Horrible.
that's incredible, credible poor luck.
Yeah.
And 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 the two of the three of them are at the Emirates, and and Miedemars, Meads, and were all from challenges. So it wasn't the state of the ground or that can be blamed. It's just that movement of a knee and coming in with a challenge has ruptured them. So extremely poor luck. And then you've had Little and Caitlin Ford out as well with different injuries, ankle
Yeah.
and
Oh, it's the
hamstring.
group's been totally demolished, isn't it? With
Yeah,
with the quality with the quality of players that have
six
been.
players. I mean,
Yeah. No
and we're
one can
still where
do
we
that.
are, and we
Yeah,
still
look, we talk about injuries like just in the men's game, and you're suddenly
yeah.
thinking how that changes. But yeah, the women aren't as blessed as with their numbers as they are. Um, yeah, at this minute, and you just look at it like that, and it's you can't legislate for anything like that. So yeah, hopefully to be some better news for them next season, and everyone does stay fit. So yeah, I think we'll call that a day, Richard. I think there's some good little bits. I think we'll go properly into next season
Yeah,
after the
we
Wolves
can't do
game.
that until we finish the season, can we? So
Yeah, we'll dip into it and we'll get Des on, and we'll try and get Emerson. Try and get Emerson on the Restream platform. I'll see if I can hook up and try and help him to get him on. Could be good to have him on the
yeah,
show.
to figure out what the issue is. Yeah,
Yeah, so we'll get it going on. But yeah, no, thanks for all the stuff in the chat, guys. Really good. And yeah, send in any or add any tweets or anything like that, any views or whatever like that, questions. And
all questions. Yeah,
yeah, chuck them in, and we'll try and give our views, and yeah, let us know your views. So yeah, thank you for watching. As I say, yeah, another big Sunday show. It will be bigger next week. Des the Enforcer will be there. I'm pretty certain he'll be there with his usual greetings. When
yeah.
he gets paid, doesn't he, to do these greetings? So
Oh yeah,
um, yeah,
we're going to set up a little business.
yeah, he's there. But I'll get
Pimp
I'll
him
get the
out,
rest done.
pimp him out to Sue.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all good. But look, onwards and upwards, Arsenal, and yeah, Gooners, come on, keep the faith, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, Richard. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you. See you.